So a lot of questions kind of come up about, one, when do you fund one of these? When is the best time to fund one? And really you can set one up, one of two ways. One is called inter vivos. And I always say my mother would be very disappointed in me because I took 5 years of Latin. I had to go look that up. I was like, what is that? And then it said between the living. And I've been speaking English for 37 years. I had to look that up. I was like, what does that mean, between the living? What it basically means is it's alive today. Meaning you set it up, you can either put money in it today or you can wait till later, but it's alive today for you to use or for your loved one to use. So again, when you're thinking about that kind, different families look at it different ways. The one reason that you would set that up is that maybe extended family, somebody else might want to leave money to your child at some time, and you want to make sure it's set up today, now, so that they can do that. Because the other way is what's called testamentary, where it just lives in your will. It just sits in your will, and it only comes into existence when you go out of existence. So it only comes into play when you're gone. So if there are extended family members above you in your family, like your parents or aunts and uncles that are a generation above you that might go before you do and may want to leave money, you want to have an inter vivos trust because it's already there. It's alive already. It doesn't mean you have to go for it to actually come up, for it to exist. Does that make sense? Another question a lot of families has is, how do you fund it? And we already talked about before, we don't have enough money, right? So how do we fund one of these things? There's a number of ways to do it. You could do lump sum payment. Let's say, you're cleaning out the couch cushions and you come across a check for $15,000 you didn't know you had. Woo! All right, let's throw that in there. Okay, maybe that's not going to happen. If it does, call me over. I want to clean the rest of your house. You could do periodic payments. You could put $100 a month, $50 a month, $25 a month into this fund every month. That's periodic. What I usually recommend for most families is that you don't put any of your money in there now, while you're here on the planet. And here's the reason, right? They're with you. You're going to pay for them anyway. Once you put money in a special needs trust, it cannot come out for any other reason other than the supplemental needs of your loved one. You can't. If all of a sudden you need to buy a car and you got 15 grand in there and your savings account's at $1,000, you can't go raid that thing. Not allowed. Not allowed. You can't do it. So you're hamstringing your money and your flexibility by putting the money in there while you're here. Because again, money's coming out of your pocket anyway. So, and you have a lot of other responsibilities besides just your child or your loved one. You have you and possibly other children and other loved ones you have to take care of too. So you want to make sure your money's available to you and it's flexible enough to do that. So a lot of times you, in terms of parents, usually wait to fund it until you're not here anymore. Or if, like I said, a grandparent has an inheritance and they want to put money in there, then God bless them, let them do it. And then, a lot of families do use some sort of life insurance as well to multiply the amount of money that we would be able to save on our own to put in there. Another big piece of a trust is what's called a trustee. A trustee really has 3 jobs. They have 3 responsibilities. One, they have to manage the money that's inside the trust to make sure it lasts as long as it needs to. They need to do the accounting or the tax work and file a tax return if the trust qualifies to do that in a year. It's got to earn more than $600 in income to warrant a tax return. And their third job is to distribute the money. That's where it gets really sticky. Not only does a special needs trust have to be designed properly on the front end, there are very specific distribution rules to ensure the money comes out for the right reasons. And here's a story of a family that I met at the Autism Society, North Carolina, in Union County. Probably about 6 years ago, I did a seminar there. And there was a woman in the front that was just just asking me just a lot of questions. I usually call it drilling me with a lot of questions. And I can tell you I was a little scared. And so the seminar ended and she came up to me and I backed up. I said, yes. And she said, Ryan, I just wanted to tell you why I was asking you so many questions. She said, we moved from another state. When we were there, we went to a financial planner and attorney that don't do this all the time. And we set up a special needs trust and we put some money into it. Both my parents died within 6 months of one another. And they left our children all their money inside this special needs trust. So far, so good. Special needs trust actually on the front end was designed right. That's good. It was designed right. Then they had the financial planner and the attorney managing the trust for them. So they would use them as their advisors in terms of, well, what can we use the money for? When can we take it out? And so one thing they had a question, they said, we wanted to build a pool for therapeutic reasons. They said, okay, sure, go ahead. You can build a pool. That's obviously government benefits is not paying for a pool, and it's for your child's therapy, so go ahead. So they did. And over the next few months, apparently, I don't know if anybody has a pool, but a lot of stuff starts to accumulate with a pool, like pool chairs and tables with umbrellas and towels and and also the therapy items, the water basketball goal and all sorts of stuff kind of accumulated, and their garage was starting to get filled up with stuff for the pool. They were like, well, we got to do something about this. So they went back to the financial planner attorney and said, hey, we want to build a storage building, pool house. I like to call it a cabana. It sounds interesting. And so they said, yeah, you can do that because it's connected to the pool. So they did. About 6 months later, Social Security came and audited them, which they can do whenever they want, and audited their trust. And so they went through and said, okay, pool, it's good. What was the reason? Therapy, okay. Okay, took money out for vacation. Okay, you paid the financial planner. Great, okay. Paid the attorney, that works. Cabana. What's that for? Well, it's for all the stuff from the pool we built for therapy. They said, well, that has no bearing on the supplemental needs of your child or the therapy needs. That has an organizational need for you as the parent. That does not qualify. So they said, this is not a special needs trust. So therefore, all the assets in here are now counted against your child, and that's more than $2,000. So therefore, we now eliminate your government benefits. And since you did this, it was really never a special needs trust. We're going to go back to the first day and tally up what we paid you, and we'd like a check, please. Money gone, poof, poof. Benefits gone, poof, poof. They had to go back through the whole process. Basically, their money was gone from the inheritance from their parents because of one error in the distribution. And so when I ask parents and we talk about the trustee job, I say, okay, who do you want to be the trustee? Well, I got one. Well, my brother Joe, he's the CFO of a company in Chicago. And everybody think, CFO would make because it says financial in the title, so that would be a good idea. And I said, and I go, great. Now you're probably thinking I'm crazy because I just told you a story, and then I said, great, let's choose Uncle Joe. But the reason is, one, we want somebody in that job that has an emotional connection to your child, wants them to do well, knows them as intimately as they can, right? Because we want them there. We want them to be a part of it. But what we can also do is we can add another feature to it. We can have a screenshot. This is going to be interesting because I don't really know how to do this. Oh, thank goodness. But what we can, look at that. Interesting. Mind of their own, thank goodness. I would not have known how to get back. What you want to have is you want to have a co-trustee or an advisory, a trust advisor or an advisory council within your trust document who has an idea of how to do that. And a co-trustee could be a financial institution, could be a bank, it can be a trust company, it can be an insurance company, an investment company. It could be an individual or a team of individuals. Again, one individual can be dangerous in case they get hit by a bus, right? And what's their succession plan? Do they have anybody else in the lineup that can fill the role for you and for your child? And we want to make sure that those organizational individuals know what they're doing as well, and ask them questions like, do you have a Medicaid attorney on staff? If you don't, how do you keep up with the Medicaid rules? If that's one person, if they get hit by a bus, what's your succession plan? Who else is coming in? How many of these do you do? How often do you do them? We don't necessarily want to be the test case, right? Now, I always say kind of a bad financial plan, we lose money. A bad special needs plan could mean our loved ones living under a bridge, and I don't say that lightly. I don't say that lightly.